Every once in a while you come across a phone that makes you wonder why people spend nearly thousands of dollars on new smartphones. With the new flagship smartphones coming out with less surprising and innovative features, cheaper smartphones are here to pick up the slack, just like an orange toupee does it to Donald Trump's receding hairline. Lots of people are getting excited about the cost of new models coming from Chinese brands, and for a good reason. Chinese smartphones have been giving us flagship specs for budget price. Today we will look at 5 best smartphones that can get you high-end specs for a very appealing price. A more simple sibling to Xiaomi's 2018 flagship, the Mi 8 Light is delivering a premium design, decent performance, and some surprisingly capable cameras. It has almost every design aspect usually associated with phones in the $500 plus bracket. If you told someone that you paid twice as much for the Xiaomi Mi 8 Light, they would likely believe you. Its body is metal and there is a display notch and slim screen borders. Mi 8 Light gets a very good 24 megapixel front-facing camera, and the rest of hardware is also quite good for a mid-range device. The difference between its screen and displays of some $700 phones is not very obvious. Xiaomi Mi 8 Light can make content look rich and natural. It has a Snapdragon 660 processor, an octa-core chipset with Creo 260 cores, and Adreno 512 GPU. This is much more powerful than the CPUs of the Moto 1, Nokia 7.1 or even Samsung Galaxy A7. It can shoot footage at up to 4K resolution in 30 frames per second, and it also has electronic image stabilization for 1080p and 4K footage. Stabilized 4K is almost unheard of at this price level. There is no wireless charging hardware in the Xiaomi Mi 8 Light, but it does have a USB-C input and fast charging, which is now an important feature in making a phone seem current. Xiaomi Mi 8 Light sets a very high standard for affordable phones. If you have done research on affordable and fast phones, you likely came across Xiaomi Spokeo F1. The jewel in this phone's crown isn't just a low price, it's what you get for the money. Not only does the Poco phone match OnePlus 6 or Honor 10, it easily beats phones like the Galaxy S9 or Pixel 2. The company's decision to load the F1 with Qualcomm's fastest ever processor is a very bold move. By some tech wizardry, they used Snapdragon 845, the same chip that powers phones costing upwards of twice the price. Then, to shoot a final nail in the coffin of the high-priced phones, Xiaomi paired it with options for 6 or 8 GB of RAM. Pair that with a choice of either 64 or 128 GB of storage, and you're looking at a proper mid-range moonshot. You even get a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is quite refreshing, and the phone's 4000 mAh battery is topped up via a USB Type-C charging port on the bottom edge of the phone. The dual SIM slot on the left edge also allows for storage expansion up to 256GB in capacity, and the volume button sits next to a slightly rounded rectangular power button on the right. There is an extended 6.18-inch Full HD Plus display that dominates the front of F1, sporting 2246 by 1080 resolution. Sadly, there is no HDR support or any such cutting-edge tech wizardry, but nonetheless, the display like that has no business being on a $300 phone, and yet here it is, all in its visual delight. A few weeks ago, we have seen a review of a UMIDIGI F1. F1 Play is very similar, but it has some distinct differences, with notable changes in memory and camera. They both pack a 6.3-inch display with a water drop cutout, and each has a massive 5150 mAh battery. F1 Play has more RAM, 6GB instead of 4, and a higher megapixel rear camera, 48 instead of 16. The newest MediaTek Helio P60 processor, 6GB of RAM, and the Mali G72 MP3 video chip provide an acceptable number of frames per second even in demanding applications. The internal storage in 64GB may not be enough, but the SD card slot is always ready to help. F1 Play features a gorgeous 6.3-inch Full HD Plus display with a resolution of 2340 by 1080. UMIDIGI F1 includes NFC and global radio bands. Anyone should be able to use the handset to make wireless payments and connect to a cell phone tower no matter where you are in the world. Additionally, the UMIDIGI F1 Play runs a near-stock Android 9 with no annoying apps and ads in the UI. The Lenovo S5 Pro is a revamped version of its predecessor, the Lenovo S5. It is a mid-range smartphone with dual cameras on its front and back. Additional features of the dual cameras include optical zoom and support for artificial intelligence-powered portrait shots for the rear cameras. For display, the Lenovo S5 Pro features a large 6.1 Full HD Plus display, which has a resolution of 2246 by 1080 pixels. There is a notch on the top center of the screen, which is a common design on recent smartphones to maximize the screen size. Besides, the 3500 mAh battery of the phone carries support for 18-watt fast charging. The Lenovo S5 Pro offers an impressive camera and decent hardware specs. It is enough to satisfy most users who love taking photos on smartphones and running multiple apps without issues. Honor, which is a subdivision of Huawei, is their new brand. It is unclear why they do that given the fact that Huawei is already a world-established name, but nonetheless, here we have it. The Honor Play looks very similar to the Honor 10 in design, but it has a matte metal finish backplate instead of a shiny glossy one. You get a USB Type-C for charging and an aux input jack. Even if you're not a gamer, this is one of the best value phones on the market, offering flagship performance at a fraction of the price, so long as you don't mind missing out on the best photography features. Competitive benchmark scores in partnership with the Honor Play's GPU Turbo Tech means that mobile gaming is, simply put, a no-compromise situation. Honor Play is powered by the Kirin 970, the same chip as in the $350 Honor 10 and $500 Huawei P20. It is designed to optimize gaming performance and frame rendering. The company claims that it boosts graphics processing efficiency by 60% while simultaneously reducing power consumption by around 30%. This boost should kick in any game, but it will be the most noticeable on games from Huawei's partner developers, currently including PUBG and Asphalt 9. The phone is backed up by 4GB of RAM and a slightly low 64GB of storage, though that at least is expandable by microSD. Features like its big and sharp 6.3-inch 2340 by 1080 screen with an 89% screen-to-body ratio, thin and light build with an iPhone-style aesthetic, and excellent selection of camera modes and options back this up. If you're still looking for the higher-end phones packed with features like wireless charging and AMOLED displays, we will see them next week. And if you want to see other tech gadgets at bargain prices, head over to our shop section. On the right is a playlist with our unboxings and tests where you will see a full review of Xiaomi Mi8 F1, and on the left is a video suggested to you personally by YouTube. Toodles!